So we are back on the South Lambeth Estate. I'm from Refurbished Don't Demolish. I'm back talking to Drina. Drina, you have had a bit of a nightmare. What's been going on?
It's going on for weeks. Well, actually, it started off out the front.
Right.
I reported it the concierge looked it up. I think it was last September or November.
A leak?
A leak.
Okay.
That was coming out of the communal service duct area.
Right.
On the other side. So I reported it, and it just kept getting ignored. And I knew it meant there was water pooling above us. So then I started seeing the damp patches inside my flat, but then it got worse out here, and we kept coming out and finding stuff like this. I haven't washed it off yet. I've cleared it all out quite a few times, but it was just pouring. You can see they came eventually, and it was just pouring out.
What is this, do you think?
Well, what happened, we had, one day I just thought it's getting too much. I was on the phone for nearly 3 hours, spoke to 6 different departments, and eventually, no one knew what I was talking about, and eventually I got someone called me who said she was a Lambeth surveyor, and she said all the surveyors, because we've all had this problem for 30 years, so the surveyors would have the reports so they could look. She said there's no surveyors, they've all changed, and surveyors don't go into the service duct, and there are no water tanks in the building. She kept telling me all this stuff. And then she rang me back and said, oh, actually, the flat above you is empty.
It's an empty property, okay.
It could have been that there's a couple of things going on. There could have been a leak from my neighbour's water tank, which would have been in the service duct area, but that could also be that she said their hot water tank, or whatever it's called, water tank, something about it's meant to be drained when they leave the property. So I think she was saying she hadn't done it. I don't know.
Okay, so if you are a resident on a Lambeth estate that's been earmarked for regeneration / demolition, and you've got a problem with repairs, who can you speak to? Who helps you?
It's weird because when I tried to, they've all just left me, and when I rang back, they've left the ladder. I don't know what I'm supposed to do with it.
Who came out? Who came to help?
This was eventually Lambeth. First of all, 4 guys came from a company, but they spent all day trying to get the diagrams for the access into the service duct, and nobody could find diagrams for Wimborne House, operations and maintenance manual. Nobody knows what I'm talking about when I ask for operations and maintenance manual. Nobody knew anything about it, so they gave up. And then they said one of them was going to come back the next day with his supervisor, but he didn't. In the meantime, this other guy turned up who was Lambeth something repairs, and at least he was good because he just climbed in and got into the service duct, and then he came back and told me there's a huge amount of water pooling above your sink and your ceiling could collapse. So he confirmed it.
So you've got your family here, your daughter lives here with you.
She's disabled, sitting underneath the bit on the thing that could collapse.
So how would we cope if the ceiling falls on your daughter? I mean, how would that be?
God. Because we've all had ceiling collapse. They don't care. I mean,
who is actually responsible for maintaining this block?
They say the livability team, because when I rang, and this is something new, that when I rang the communal number for housing repairs, because I got a reference number from the concierge, they said, oh, you're a livability estate, so we can't give you information. So I don't know what she meant.
So how long has this been going on?
Well, this leak all started last September, October, November.
Since well before Christmas.
Well before. And now, this is me in Wimborne House. The concierge told me, I can't believe it's a day. He said there's an awful lot of leaks being reported here, and they're all like 2 to 3 a week, or 2 to 3, it couldn't be 2 to 3 a day. Let's say 2 to 3 a week. I mean, it would be easy to find out how many call-outs, but why are there so many? I say you need to do a systems analysis to know what's going on, but I would argue the issues with leaks have got much worse since they had the water issue when they replaced the water pipes, and then they also moved the dry risers from the front of the building to the back.
Okay,
now,
so
it's as if they've laid a new water system on top of the existing. I don't know.
My take on this would be that it seems like absolute chaos here, and it seems like it's a mixture of incompetence and deliberate neglect, and you're at the end of it.
you know, there is a thing at the moment where I'm not allowed to talk to you as chair of the TRA because they're saying there's all these charges against me, and they're trying to. I'm waiting for a court date because they're going to issue an antisocial behaviour order against me.
Wow.
Because they said I bully and something about asking too many questions, but they're including me in that and another person in the TRA.
Welcome to the wonderful world of regeneration in Lambeth. Thank you, Trina.
I know, you know, right, if I'm the bully, I think bullying my daughter is what they've done to her is worse bullying. I think poor old Elizabeth dying, I think that was the worst form of bullying. But I mean, the